Good morning. We're at the Arts Center, obviously, and today I am so pleased to bring to you Hobey Ford. Hobey is a professional puppeteer. Not only does he put the puppets in motion, but you create those as well. And we are able to bring him to the students of Swain County because of the North Carolina Arts Council Grassroots Grant, and because of some extra effort from our representatives, Mike Clampett and Kevin Corbin. We're able to do more this year than we have been able to in the past. So, Mr. Ford, we are so thrilled to have you here, and I was thrilled to see the interaction with the students this morning. But if you would, for those who don't know you, would you give us just a little bit of a background on yourself?
Sure. When I was 18, I went to art college up in New York State, outside of New York City. I wanted to be an artist, but art was so abstract. And when I was in 5th grade, a marionette show had come to my school, a really good one, and I was the helper for the afternoon, and I never forgot it. And so that year I said, I'm gonna make puppets, and I love it. So it incorporates engineering, art, performance, music, all sorts of things. And I love working with kids, so it's just been a great career. I've been doing this for about 45 years now.
And I know why Joe and we have brought you here, and it's for those very reasons that you just mentioned. And it's the fact that we want our students to see so many different varieties of opportunities and how what they're doing in school can actually relate to something else.
Yeah, and you know, we are all different kinds of learners. And I was a visual spatial learner, but I also think mechanically. And so there are kids whose genius is their hands, or they might, the technical engineering part, or the art part, or dance or movement. So it can awaken that and to their possibility that one day they'll wake up and say, maybe I could do something a little different and in the arts.
And I'm so thrilled with that, because you don't know it, but I'm an arts person. I spent my life in the music world and then moved into administration after teaching. But you are doing this because you want to show our students possibilities. Are there other reasons that you bring this to the public?
Well, for one thing, just the personal expression of it. It's so satisfying to work and to excite kids and to get them excited about the arts. That's probably the main thing. You know, I want to teach them about the animals and metamorphosis and how animals survive and what they need to do. But it's also presenting really magic, creating magic. And for them, it is extra special. With their imagination, it becomes very real. You know, the puppeteer can disappear and they just see these animals coming through the air. So it's inspiring to do.
So you've mentioned the magic. Would you mind taking 30 or 45 seconds and showing us some of that magic?
So I take carved foam rubber and I carve these, sculpt them with scissors, and then I've inserted rods into these. These are called rod puppets, a form of rod puppet. And but these are my own invention. I call them foamies, and when they swim through the audience, they become very real to the children, and they become alive. And my career really kicked off when some of Jim Henson's people saw my work and said, "We want to fund you. Send Jim a video." And I sent him some video of the foam animals, and he funded 3 of my shows. I never got to meet him. I met his family later, but he really made my career possible just by putting me out there and helping me. So,
well, Jim Henson, for somebody who may not know, because they may not have come from my time frame, Jim Henson was instrumental in Sesame Street and in some of the other, in the Muppets, and so he helped create what you're doing now.
Yeah, and it's an ancient art form. It really goes back. You know, there are Stone Age puppets that have been unearthed. And it goes back before Jim Henson. There was Bill Baird, who I was excited about, who did the Puppets and the Sound of Music, the little marionette scene of the Lonely Goat Herd. And when I was 18 and went to one of the theaters where he was working, he was retired, but I went to get his autograph, and he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Hobey Ford." He said, "I knew your grandfather, Hobey Ford. You're from Rowayton, Connecticut. You stay right there." And then he told me afterwards that he had met my grandfather who had said that he broke his children's crayons because he didn't want any more artists in the family, and he wanted to know how I managed to become an artist. And it was true. There were artists all around. He was a businessman, sure. And so he would have been resistant to it, but I was able to do it. And incidentally, Bill Baird let me try out his marionettes from the big bridge looking down to the theater stage, and they were like Stradivarius. And I said, "How? Mine don't do this." And he spent 2 hours and showed me in his workshop how to put a marionette together. And so one of the things that I like to do also is teach puppetry to children and to puppeteers. And there's a worldwide organization. We have festivals. We share our knowledge. And I had an apprentice from Beijing, China, for 6 months at one point. So we're trying to share this and pass it on, and especially kids, how they can use puppets. My favorite toy was cardboard and tape and scissors, and if I knew how to make shadow puppets when I was a kid, I would have been so much better by now. But I know that kids love to do it, and it taps into so many different parts of their knowledge and brain that I think it's just important to expose them to the arts.
Well, and as a former music teacher, I know that stimulating that part of the mind is critical for the other elements of thinking.
Right.
You know, we talk about reading and writing and arithmetic, but in order to have that creative element working, it's critical that they be exposed to this. And so Mr. Ford, we want to thank you for bringing this today, and we want to thank the North Carolina Arts Council, the Grassroots Grant, and our representatives for helping us. And I would love for our public to be able to see some of what you have done on stage, or at least in your work. So if we were going to tell them where to go or what to look for, how could they see your work?
Yeah. If a grown-up would do a Google search of my name, Hobey Ford, Hobey, and then Ford like the car, no relation, and then PBS, there's a wonderful documentary out, a short 10-minute documentary on my work, and that would be a great place to start.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure that others will look into that, and Joe will be putting some visuals up so that our public can see what our students are experiencing and see your work, and that's one of the reasons that we continue to do this. I know that it interrupts the students' morning, and it gets them excited through the day, but it is absolutely critical that we give experiences to our children so that whenever they're working in other areas, they have something to draw on.
Yes.
That has to do with reading comprehension and so many other things. So thank you for helping our students develop. Thank you, Joe, for bringing this. And thank you, Swain County, for allowing us to work with your students, your children. We appreciate it. Thank you for being part of our family.
Yeah.
We certainly feel like part of yours.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, and God bless you.